Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Ah, I'm a little later than planned. Seems to be par for the course recently, but happy Monday. If you are here, say hello. If you're watching the replay, of course, please comment replay below. I'm here to share something with you that I've been talking about for a while, per my usual, right, with my clients. And I wanted to jump in here and share this with you because I think this is one of the key concepts that we need to understand about mindset and why we care about mindset. Why do we care about managing our mind? Why does that even matter? Okay. So if you are here, say hello. I'm going to give it just a second and then we're going to just dive right in. And, I was thinking about these mindset messages that I've been sharing with you and why I come live every Monday and why I think that it's important. Um, and I was reminded this morning as I was checking client messages and, going through my messages and just kind of checking in with my clients. And I saw a response from one of my clients who just got licensed in massage therapy. And this was something that we've been working on, before she actually started the program, we had been working on what's her next step, like, what does she want to do? And she'd been thinking about this. And through the course of making the decision to actually get into the program, going through the program, like all kinds of mindset gremlins have come up along the way. Like before she even went into the school to talk to them about joining their program, there was all of this anxiety and all of these gremlins and all of this stuff that was coming up about whether she could do it. Can she be a person that does this thing and finishes it? And to see her today, the first time she took the licensing exam, to not only say that she's passed it, but it's so much bigger than just passing a test, right? It's proving that with belief in self, with managing your mind, with getting support as needed, that you really can do whatever those things are that are floating around in your mind. And I think it was earlier this weekend I had posted something here on Facebook that said that thing that you're thinking about, that thing that you can't stop thinking about, you should absolutely go do it. And this is an example of why you should do that. So I'm thrilled. I'm so excited. This is why I do this work, right? That's just one example of the kind of results that you get with this mindset stuff. I have another client who's starting a business in addition to, she just got offered a position that's like $40,000 more a year than what she was previously making. Like these things don't happen by accident. They happen with intention, and they happen when you understand how to really manage your mind and your mindset. And so today I want to talk about how powerful your mind is, right? And I want to talk about this because I think that for a lot of people, there comes this idea that we have to wait for things to change before we feel better. We have to wait until we have the amount of money. We have to wait until the partner comes, the business success, the book is published, whatever that end result is, that we have to wait for that thing to happen. And then we get to feel good. And then we get to be enough. And then we get to feel happy. But we have it all backwards. And I did this exercise with a client a couple months back where we were talking about feeling and choosing to feel better. And we had this conversation, and she was saying, like we talk and I feel great. And then, I go back to life and then I don't feel like doing the things, or I don't feel as great, or I don't feel like blank. And it was reminding me that, we rely so heavily on what is happening or not happening in our life in order to dictate how we feel. Like if money is flowing, then great, we're happy. If love is flowing, then great, we're happy. If, all is well, then great, it's easy. But what about those times when we're not quite there yet, or we haven't figured it out, or we're having some challenges? Like those are the moments where we really have to understand how to manage our mind. And when you understand that and you take these tools that I share with you every week, that I share with my clients every week, that I talk about in my newsletters for free every week, then you understand that it's so much more than that. That if we're living our lives simply for those highlight moments, then we're not really living at all. And there's so much more power that we have in our lives and in our day-to-day presence when we understand how to manage those moments. So I'm not saying that you have to be happy all the time, right? Life happens, those things happen. And I'm going to talk more about that when I come in here on Thursday. But the thing that we really have to understand is you have more power than you think. And even in those moments when you don't feel great, and I'm going to be honest, this morning was one of those moments. I had a really big weekend. I did a lot, like physically did a lot. I'm exhausted. And I knew that I made a choice to show up here. And prior to showing up here, I had to do some, mind management, right? Like I had to do some mind management before I decided to show up here, because I'm not going to show up from a place of exhaustion and grumpiness and whatever the case is, right? So here's the thing I want you to remember, that your mind is so powerful. You are so powerful that you have the power to shift and change how you think, to shift and change how you feel, to shift and change how you focus, regardless of what is happening around you. And I don't mean to discount those things, because those things are very real. Like we have some very real stuff going on in the world and our personal lives. That stuff happens. And some of it is heartbreaking, and some of it is, gut wrenching, and some of it is really, really hard to handle, right? And you still have the power to choose. And I talk about this all the time when I'm doing this one-on-one work with clients, because we often forget that we have the power to choose, that we have the power to rest, that we have the power to listen to our bodies. We have the power to do what we feel called to do what we feel like we need to do. Like we have that power. And in that power, in those choices, comes the opportunity to feel better, right? We are not a victim of our circumstance. And I grew up for a very long time believing that that I couldn't be happy until fill in the blank. And it took coaching, it took some therapy, it took really understanding my power to get me to a place, excuse me, where I understand that I actually have more power than I previously thought. And you do too. I'm not special, right? I'm not special in that I get to choose how I feel, but you don't. We all do. So a really simple sort of example that I gave to one of my clients recently was I asked her to think about a time when she was really inspired, to reflect on a time or some subjects where it was easy to feel excited. And we kind of went through this discussion where she was like, oh yeah, I was really excited when I did this, this, and this. And I love, live music and going to concerts and doing X, Y, and Z. And we talked about a variety of things that she loved to do. We talked about things that she had done recently that she was really excited about and proud of. And in this short span of about 5 minutes, her entire sort of mindset, her entire energy, her entire vibe shifted. And so I asked her how she felt after about 5 minutes of this discussion. And she was like, I feel great. I feel energized. I feel uplifted. I feel, inspired. And I said, and did that thing, whatever we were talking about, I don't remember what it was. I said, did that thing change? And she said, no, that thing was irrelevant, right? It wasn't about that thing anymore. It wasn't, I can only be happy when that thing happens. It was, I'm choosing to think about all these things, and I'm remembering all of these things, and I'm grateful for these things, and I love these things about my life. And by simply focusing on that, she was able to create a shift in how she felt. That other thing was still something of concern. It was still something she wanted to shift. But now she was in more of a powerful place to be able to shift it because she was in an empowered place. Does that make sense? So I know that this isn't always the first thing that we do. We don't typically, most of us humans, we don't immediately go, oh my gosh, this thing is heartbreaking and it's so hard and I'm crying my eyes out and I'm dealing with this very real thing in my life. Now let me just go think happy thoughts. That's not how it works. But I do want you to understand that even in those moments, we have tools, we have choices, we have opportunities to shift and change how we feel, to shift and change how we focus, to take a break, to listen to our bodies, to pull back if we have to, right? And to lean in when we feel called to. Like we have more power than I think most of us realize. And I want you to understand that this whole mindset thing is not for you to just have, sunshine and rainbow days for the rest of your life. We're human. Life is going to happen. And like I said, I'm going to talk more about that on Thursday. But the point of all of this is for you to understand how much power you really have, right? That we don't have to be a victim to our circumstance, that we can manage our mind. And it's through managing our mind and our energy and doing what we feel called to do that's really going to make a difference in our lives and how we feel and what we achieve. There's so much power in that. And so when I talk about these mindset tips and I talk about having some kind of practice and I talk about things like mindset triage, which is dealing with the hard stuff, dealing with the tough stuff in the moment and moving through those things and managing your mind, it's because I know how powerful it is. And I've been on the other side. I've been the negative, like only being able to see the negative, always falling into a pit of despair when the external thing wasn't working out and feeling like I needed that external thing to shift before I could feel better. Okay. So I'm sharing all of this with you because I want you to know how powerful you are. And, when I talk about mindset, again, it's not to convince you that you have to be happy all the time because we're human and stuff happens and it's going to happen regardless. But how do you respond? How do you give yourself compassion? How do you give yourself grace when it does? How do you choose to move forward when it does? Right? That's what this is about. So I want you to know that you're so powerful that you can shift and change and manage your mind, even in the darkest of times, even in the most challenging situations, even in the unknowns that you're about to step into. And I'll be honest, I've had a lot of clients recently, most, if not all, stepping into the unknown in a way that is like completely new. It's like they're stepping onto a new planet. They're doing things that they've never done before, and it is wildly uncomfortable. And it is those moments when our mind really needs to be managed because it's so easy to step onto that new terrain, to step onto that new path and say, I don't know what I'm doing. This is really uncomfortable and I'm really afraid and I can't do this. And then to like pull back, right? To retreat. But what I'm reminding everyone is, yes, this is new. Yes, this is a place that you've never been. Yes, it is uncomfortable. And yes, you can still do it. We're just moving up a notch. We're just shifting that into that next level, right? And managing your mind is the key to that. Okay? So I talk a lot more about managing your mind and how to do that. And of course, everything that I do when I work with clients one-on-one is individualized. I have key concepts that everything is individualized when it comes to you and what you're doing. So if this is something that you're interested in, if you're like, yes, I'm tired of, feeling like I'm out of control, I'm feeling like I have no control when it comes to my life, my reactions, my responses, and you want to go to that next level and you want that support, then I'm going to post some information for you in the comments below. I'm going to post the link to book a free call with me so we can talk about it and see if we're a good fit. I'm also going to post a link to join my email list because I email stuff like this, 2 to 3 times a week so that you are getting this information. And I do it, for free. I'm sharing all of this. And I promise if you apply it, I feel like I say this in every video, but it's true. If you apply it, your life will change for the better. And many times even better than you ever imagined. Okay? So I'm going to post those links below. If you would like access to my email list or you want to book a free chat with me, feel free to do that in the comment section below. In the meantime, just remember that you have power. And a quick exercise that you can do right now, it's one of my favorite key sort of exercises, is to do what I call the love list. And it's similar to a gratitude list. I just connect a bit easier with the whole idea of things I love. Make a list of like 25 things that you love and just bring them to mind. And I promise by the end of that 25, if not sooner, you're going to feel completely different. You're going to feel better because now you've reflected on all the things that you love. Okay? So give that a try. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know if this resonates for you. Does this make sense? Do you have questions about it? Are there other topics that you want me to cover in upcoming videos? Is there a part of your mindset that you're struggling with that you want me to talk about? If so, put it in the comments below. And make sure you come back on Thursday. Thursday, I'm going to be talking about the whole concept of when life happens. I've had some conversations with clients recently where there's been some misconceptions about those life happening moments. And I'm sure that they're not the only ones. So I want you to come back here on Thursday afternoon. It's my morning, but your afternoon, so we could talk about that. Okay? All right, friends, I hope you have a wonderful Monday. Remember, I'm including all the information in the comments below, and I will chat with you soon. Bye.